Immigration's good.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to each have time for rebuttal now. I'd like to remind everyone that the point of this is to have an open conversation, and the people in the audience will walk away deciding however they decide based on what you say, so let's not talk over each other. Thank you. So there'll be 2 minutes for rebuttal since this is a rather hot topic. We'll start with Eagles for Liberty since you started the issue.
Before we get started, sorry, I'm a little bit sick, but can we refrain from labeling anybody like sexism or racism? Because we don't really know each other. We're far enough from debating. I just think it creates a more toxic debate atmosphere. So can we just agree not to mislabel anybody until we hear all the arguments, and then feel free to apply your opinion.
Or at least have a civil discussion.
Yeah.
It's civil. Let's keep our hands to ourselves and let's not talk over people.
I'm glad to see the progressive movement is finally becoming more open to immigration. There's this common caricature of libertarians being right-wing Republican, pot-smoking Republicans. But the fact of the matter is, libertarians ran the first gay candidate in 1972. They were for marriage equality before the Democrats. They were for open borders in the 70s, way before the Democrats. Barack Obama deported more illegal immigrants, 11 million, than any other president in the history of the United States. So Democrats, as Republicans like to frame it, aren't the party of open borders. They're just as fascistic as the right wing is.
Thank you. I'll let the other Republicans go.
So, a couple things that were mentioned. One, our college Republicans in general have a wide range of views on this topic. No one really, per se agrees. But one thing I will say is what we have an issue with is when Washington determines when they're going to agree with immigration laws and then set them aside and not agree with it. And actually, the Democratic Party, for a very long time, were the ones that were advocating for closed borders, that were advocating for suppression of minorities. This was in the 1960s, and before that, the Democratic Party was doing that. I just want to say that. And the biggest issue really becomes that we need to fix this issue. You're right. The process is very long and it is very complicated, and we can go about fixing this issue. And that's the kind of things that we're looking for here in the Republican Party.
Yeah, this is another great example of government failure at its finest. For many years, there were these laws in place that our government just chose to ignore, and we have this great immigration problem, but we're trying to actively find a solution to it. Again, we do have different beliefs, like all of us do. I'll be arguing against these two on Thursday. So, we do have very diverse beliefs in the Republican Party on how to fix this issue.
Thank you. College Democrats.
Yeah, so just to throw this out there, again, just like we talked about in different sides of the parties, there are so many different views on that. I know our Democratic Party is currently in the stages of reforming our party and what we believe in. Definitely, I'd say in the younger generations, we see. In 30 years, our party will not be the same. I'll guarantee that. And I would agree with the statement that Barack Obama did deport many undocumented immigrants. And however, there was some hope to that. I know from that we actually received the DREAM Act, and I'd say that there's so many different views within our party that many people would go against Obama in that sense. And I just kind of want to say that someone told me once, I can't wait on the American system. I'm hungry. My people are starving. Cartels are coming in, shooting up our villages every single day. If I stay another 10 years here, I don't know if my own family will survive. See, I did cross the border because I didn't have time to sit around for a green card. I didn't have time to take English classes because I couldn't afford it. I needed to feed my family. I needed to find a better future. The American system failed me, so yes, I did cross. That's what my mother told me a few years ago.
Thank you. So another topic tied very closely to immigration, foreign policy. There's a lot to delve into here, so we'll just start very broadly. Currently, there seems to be a divide between getting involved in other nations and kind of remaining somewhat isolationist. I'd like to hear from your guys' organizations about that. I'll start with college point.
Teddy Roosevelt once said, "Speak softly but carry a big stick." That was in reference to making sure the rest of the world knew that we are America and we need to be respected. So since then, we've been beefing up our militaristic forces, to defend our citizens with a show of force. Right?
So actually, this is another issue where the Republican Party has a wide range of issues on. Me personally, I believe that we do need to have a strong military, but this is not to get involved in the foreign interventions that we don't have to be in. This is actually something that a lot of Republicans agree on. We talk about some of the issues with Iraq, we talk about some of the issues with going involved in other countries, and we need a military in order to defend ourselves when an attack does happen. So we do believe in a strong military, but we do understand that we have to be understanding and comprehend what we're getting ourselves into when we get involved in foreign interventions.
Thank you. Eagle Silverty.
Okay, so we would largely get a label that's called isolationists. This isn't really true. We're not interventionists. We love communicating with other countries when it comes to trade. We do not like bombing other countries. And we need to acknowledge the fact that government has failed us time and time again when it comes to these foreign interventions. And because anyone in any centralized power, again, when you have one person, a bureaucrat in Washington, even several bureaucrats in Washington, deciding what civilizations should exist across the world, obviously that's not going to lead to anything good. Because the United States has backed atrocious regimes since World War II. In fact, I don't know if anyone's heard about the Indonesian East Timor. It happened between 1975 and 1999, where the United States government backed a genocide. It armed about 90% of the genocide. And because President Ford felt that, we just lost Vietnam, so you know what? We just need a few friends in that area. And unfortunately, I was kind of hoping that the Republicans would take more of a pro-interventionist position, because that's the pattern that they've had in the past. John McCain is very vehemently wanting to rebuild regimes across the world. And unfortunately, again, the Republican Party is not fiscally responsible, because the Pentagon has come out and stated that 25% of military funds are largely untactically used. So what we need to do is take the appropriate steps to acknowledge the crimes that the United States government has committed and stop committing them. And then this would greatly reduce the acts of terrorism across the world. There was a great study by Robert Pape, who was the foreign policy advisor to Barack Obama, who found that where there are increased bombings in Middle Eastern countries, there's an increase in terrorism. So we need to acknowledge this fact, this statistic, and make sure that we understand that when the United States does crimes, we need to hold the people accountable. When ISIS does crimes, we hold them accountable as well. So the libertarian belief is vehemently anti-war, because foreign policy from Washington is ineffective.
Yeah, from May 2017 to June 2017, 472 individuals, innocent civilians, died in the Middle East from U.S. bombings, and over 12 years in Europe, 450 individuals have died in terrorist attacks. So 1 month in the Middle East of U.S. bombings killed more people than terrorist attacks in Europe over 12 years. You may disagree that taxation is theft, or that government spending is bad, but government spending on drone strikes that kill thousands of innocent children and families, which is taking place massively under Obama and increased under Trump. There's no more worse use of government spending.
I would also agree with that. It's just, I know the argument is we're intervening in these countries' conflicts in order to restore peace and prosperity, but it's shown that we've done the opposite of that. We have, like Dominick said, backed horrible regimes. We have not brought any peace hardly anywhere. We've just created more problems because we don't know what these places are like. We should just let these people live the way that they want to live, because they are people too, and they deserve not to be bombed or messed with by the U.S.
Thank you. Alexandra.
Perfect. So this is definitely where I think our party differs within itself. historically, or in the past few presidencies, we have been a very interventionist country, I'd say, interventionist party, I'd say, with definitely us being involved in every corner of the world and acting as the world's police. But we, or at least our generation of the party, definitely recognizes that violence, that's not the solution. We believe that there's peace through cooperation. And I really like that we brought up the concept of President Ford and backing up a genocide. We are still doing that today. This is not old. This isn't something that we left in the past. The current Republican Party is backing Israel. And Israel just committed a mass murder of people. We flipped out for 17 individuals that we lost here in Florida. The Israeli force just had a mass shooting of 773 individuals, Palestinian individuals. That's definitely something that we must talk about and recognize that the Republican Party is still backing up genocides. We are in the middle of a Palestinian genocide where we refuse to acknowledge their independence and their rights as humans.
So, Bryan covered it pretty well by saying that this is a topic the party split on. Well, I do agree that, definitely the U.S. shouldn't be involved in situations that do not concern them. I believe that if they are creating situations, as they have in Israel, there should be some form of intervention, but not necessarily military intervention, but just, I don't know. I really don't know, because we are in so deep in that situation, and we are not acknowledging the type of violence and crime that's going on, and being endorsed by the United States. Israel's the best example I can give because I'm Lebanese. So, I hear about it in the news and I have to wonder, why is it that we're allowing, acts of crime, acts of war, and, acts of inhumanity happening in the Middle East, and we're still continuing to back this country, continuing to fund this country, continuing to be an ally to this country. And, while I do see the value in having allies in the Middle East and having allies wherever we can, it should not be done at the expense of other nations, especially when those other nations are struggling, and the reason that they're seeing the strife that they're seeing is because they don't have the intervention and the allies that, nations such as Israel are having. The way Alex put it, we make sure that other nations know that this is the United States and that we have to respect the United States. It shouldn't just be, respect the United States and respect the United States allies. It should be respect each other. And until we all, as a, not only as a nation, but as a world, adopt that mentality, we're going to continue to see the type of, violence and crime and terrorism that we do see in the Middle East and around the world.
Thank you. So that transitions us into